Prince Alfred and Princess Heidi, inseparable since childhood due to their neighboring kingdoms, formed a deep friendship over the years. The proximity of their realms strengthened their connection, leading even their parents to anticipate a future marriage. Alfred, harboring feelings for Heidi, envisioned marrying her when the time was right. As Princess Heidi approached the age for marriage, Alfred discreetly urged his parents to broach the topic with hers. He held a conviction that he and Heidi were meant to be married. As Alfred's parents broached the topic with Heidi, they disclosed that another suitor expressed interest in marrying her. Respectfully, they conveyed that the final decision rested with Heidi to ensure her choice was not coerced. Alfred's heart sank at this revelation, despite his steadfast belief that Heidi would choose him. Their childhood promise to marry echoed in his mind, yet he couldn't shake the worry that Heidi might be swayed by the presence of the new suitor vying for her hand. Seated at their usual meeting spot, Alfred and Heidi enjoyed their familiar banter. When a striking prince with his chiseled features, framed by a cascade of dark and perfectly groomed hair, approached. Heidi, visibly stunned by his attractiveness, watched as the prince confidently addressed her. "You must be Princess Heidi," he said, with a charming smile. Excitedly, Heidi nodded, and the prince gracefully kissed the back of her hand, introducing himself as Prince Elias, the suitor wanting to marry her. Observing the interaction between Heidi and Prince Elias, Alfred couldn't conceal his annoyance. Despite the evident charm Prince Elias had cast over Heidi, Alfred remained resolute and unwilling to step back. Elias turned towards Alfred and commented to Heidi, "That must be your brother." Alfred swiftly responded, "No, we are childhood friends. We've been together our whole lives, and nothing and nobody can break us apart." Undeterred, Elias acknowledged Alfred's statement with a casual okay before redirecting his attention to Heidi, inviting her to show him around, since he was going to stay for a while. Heidi's parents suggested that Elias stay to allow Heidi some time to get to know him before deciding on marriage. Heidi agreed to show Elias around, with Alfred trailing along to keep an eye on things. As Elias continued to shower Heidi with compliments, Alfred grew increasingly annoyed, feeling as though he were invisible. Elias, glancing at Alfred and smirking, fueled Alfred's suspicion that Elias might have ulterior motives. As the days passed, Heidi spent more time with Elias, occasionally neglecting to invite Alfred. Came on his own anyways, but hated every second of it, as Elias wouldn't stop flirting with Heidi. Frustrated, Alfred attempted to dig up information on Elias to use against him, yet his thorough investigation yielded no damaging findings. Frustrated and desperate, Alfred resorted to secretly following Elias, hoping to uncover something that could help him persuade Elias to leave. Despite days of secretive surveillance, Elias exhibited no suspicious behavior. One day, as Alfred continued following him, Elias halted and remarked, "With the way you're stalking me, I might think you're an obsessed fan of mine." Concealed nearby, Alfred acknowledged Elias was addressing him. Elias then called him out, and Alfred, pretending ignorance, walked past, asserting, "Who is stalking you?" Once out of Elias's sight, Alfred swiftly retreated to his room, aware he had been caught, but determined to persist until he found something compelling enough to make Elias leave for good. Caught again during his covert pursuit of Elias, Alfred found himself pulled close, chest touching. As Elias smirked and questioned, "Are you sure you're not stalking me?" Alfred admitted, "Yes, I am, and I know you're up to no good. I'm going to find out." Elias probed, "What did I do that makes you think I'm up to no good? Are you sure you're not falling for me?" Alfred chuckled and retorted, "Why would I fall for you? The only person I love is Heidi, whom I was going to marry before you entered the picture. Just know that, no matter what you do, she's going to choose me." In response to Alfred's accusation, Elias nonchalantly stated, "Okay, I don't know if I should care or not." Alfred declared, "I knew it. I knew you didn't care about Heidi. Why do you want to marry her then?" Elias confessed, "The truth is, I want you, not Heidi. My parents forced me to come here, but the moment I saw you, I knew I wanted you, and I'm going to get you." Alfred, maintaining his resolve, retorted, "I already know what you're planning, and it won't work." Elias, pulling Alfred even closer, smirked and asked, "Okay, tell me, what am I planning?" Alfred, on the verge of answering Elias's question, was caught off guard when Elias unexpectedly kissed him. Pushing Elias away, Alfred, shocked and taken aback, demanded, "What did you just do to me?" Elias replied, "I just kissed you. It seems you don't believe that it's you that I want." Alfred, slowly moving back, stammered, "Why would you?" and abruptly left. Determined to make Elias leave, Alfred resorted to a series of pranks, from filling his shoes with mud to sprinkling sugar on his bed to attract ants. He even went as far as pouring glue inside Elias's door lock and spraying his room with fart spray. However, Elias remained remarkably calm and collected, showing no signs of anger, much to Alfred's increasing frustration. One afternoon, Heidi, Elias, and Alfred sat together, with Elias deeply engrossed in his phone. When Heidi questioned Elias about what he was doing, he replied, "I'm playing a video game." Heidi admitted she had never played video games, and Elias replied that he could teach her if she wanted. Heidi was getting up to go sit by Elias, and Alfred, observing this, swiftly got up and positioned himself beside Elias, first, expressing his interest in learning as well. Heidi, sitting back down, acknowledged the idea, stating it was a good one, as it might help them get along better. Alfred, waiting for Elias to begin the lesson, was surprised when Elias looked at him, created a space between his thighs, and invited him to sit there. Alfred asked why, and Elias responded, "I can only teach you well if you sit here." Glancing at Heidi, who observed the situation, Alfred hesitantly occupied the space Elias had made. Elias then handed the phone to Alfred, hugging him from behind and guiding Alfred's hand on the phone with his own. While Elias was attempting to teach Alfred the game, Alfred's attention wandered as he plotted more pranks. When Heidi left, Alfred also attempted to get up, but Elias pulled him back, embracing him tightly and asking, "Where are you going to?" Alfred felt Elias's warm breath on his neck, and oddly, his heart began to beat faster and louder. Elias moved his hand to Alfred's chest, smirking, and asked, "Why is your heartbeat so fast and loud?" Alfred quickly got up and left, already planning another prank. This time, he prepared juice blended with fish to offer Elias. When Alfred presented the drink, Elias remarked, "I didn't ask for juice." Alfred explained, "I know, I just want to use this as a way to start things over and be cool with each other." Elias responded, "I've always been cool with you," and Alfred offered, "Then take this as an apology from me for all the mean things I did to you." Elias accepted the juice, and Alfred watched as he drank it. As Elias began to feel hot, scratching his neck and struggling to breathe, he asked Alfred, "Did you put fish in the juice?" With an evil smile, Alfred admitted, "Yes, I did. How do you like it?" Elias, revealing his allergy to fish, passed out in Alfred's arms. Panicking, Alfred called for help, and guards assisted in carrying Elias to his room. He didn't think his prank would go this far. The kingdom's physician was summoned, and a worried Heidi joined, staying with Elias till he regained consciousness. Alfred, feeling ashamed, stayed outside, secretly watching Elias and breathing a sigh of relief when he woke up. Unable to face Elias, he refrained from entering the room. Even after Elias fully recovered, Alfred continued avoiding him, even refraining from joining Heidi and Elias when they hung out. He wanted to apologize, but couldn't muster the courage to face Elias. As he tried to evade Elias, Elias caught up with him, blocking his way and asking, "Why are you avoiding me?" Alfred denied it, but Elias insisted, "Yes, you are." Alfred, feeling the weight of guilt, expressed, "You almost died because of me, and you're worried about me avoiding you? Aren't you angry at me at all, even for all the mean pranks I pulled on you?" Elias responded, "How can I be mad at you?" with a smile, playfully pinching Alfred's cheek. Despite Alfred's insistence that Elias should be angry, Elias stated, "Well, I can't be mad at the person I like." Alfred dismissed Elias's statement, saying, "Not this joke again." Elias insisted, "I'm not joking." Despite the sincerity, Alfred maintained, "Yes, you are. I'm sorry for putting fish in your juice, and I'm going to stop with the pranks, but I still don't want you and Heidi together." Without giving Elias a chance to respond further, Alfred left. Ever since that day, just seeing Elias made Alfred's heart flutter, and an involuntary smile would appear on his face. However, he quickly dismissed those feelings. At times, he found himself questioning if he was truly falling for Elias, sending his thoughts into a spiral of uncertainty. One night, lost in thoughts of Elias, Alfred found himself standing at the door of Elias's room. Realizing he attempted to leave, but Elias opened the door and asked, "Are you looking for me?" Alfred denied it, claiming he was just taking a walk. Elias, however, pulled him into the room, pinning him to the wall. Alfred, not resisting, stared at Elias as his heart raced. Elias placed his hand under Alfred's shirt, moving it to his chest, and remarked, "Your heartbeat is fast and loud again. Are you sure you're not falling for me?" Leaning in for a kiss, Alfred closed his eyes, but snapped back, pushing Elias away, and frustratedly exclaimed, "Stop messing with my head," storming back to his room. He didn't want to be feeling this way about Elias. He is supposed to hate him. Feeling overwhelmed by his unexpected emotions for Elias, Alfred sought a solution by confessing his longtime feelings to Heidi, hoping that by doing so, he could redirect his thoughts away from Elias. The next morning, Alfred sought out Heidi as the first step in his plan. Confessing his long-standing feelings to her, Heidi was taken aback and genuinely surprised. Heidi, having always considered Alfred as a brother, and assuming he felt the same, found herself in a state of confusion. She had never realized Alfred had romantic feelings for her, leaving her uncertain about how to delicately reject him. In the most considerate manner possible, Heidi gently conveyed to Alfred that she didn't share the same romantic feelings. Unexpectedly, when Heidi gently rejected Alfred, he didn't feel the heartbreak he anticipated. Strangely unaffected, he walked away with his head down, leaving Heidi feeling remorseful, knowing there was nothing more she could do. As Alfred headed back to his room, he spotted Elias talking and laughing with a maid. Annoyance and sadness welled up within him, accompanied by a painful sensation in his chest. The desire to know their conversation intensified, and he found himself perturbed by the presence of the maid near Elias. Wrestling with conflicting emotions, Alfred questioned if he was feeling jealous. He resisted the idea, not wanting to harbor feelings for Elias, but the feelings were too strong and couldn't be stopped. In an attempt to clear his mind, he took a shower, standing beneath the water, trying to process the overwhelming emotions within him. In a moment of intense contemplation, Alfred saw Elias joining him in the shower, wrapping him in a hug. As he attempted to lean in for a kiss, Elias vanished, and Alfred was left holding on to thin air. Realizing it was merely a product of his imagination, his frustration deepened, and he grappled with the sense that he might be losing his mind. Alfred, determined to ignore Elias, found himself succumbing to every call and touch from him. His body seemed to act independently of his will. During their usual gathering with Heidi and Elias, Alfred drifted into his own thoughts, oblivious to their conversation. When he saw Heidi holding Elias's hand, a surge of jealousy consumed him, prompting him to abruptly leave, visibly annoyed. Misinterpreting the situation, Heidi confided in Elias about feeling guilty for rejecting Alfred and expressed concern about their friendship potentially being affected. Elias now learned about Alfred's confession to Heidi and the subsequent heartbreak due to rejection. Driven by a desire to comfort Alfred, Elias pursued him. He called out Alfred's name, attempting to catch up with him, but Alfred remained unresponsive, continuing to walk away. Finally catching up to Alfred, Elias took his hand and gently turned him to face him. He asked Alfred if his was okay, but Alfred just responded with a blank stare, remaining silent. Elias embraced him in a hug and gently encouraged him, saying, "You can cry if you want to." In an unexpected turn, Alfred forcefully pushed Elias against the wall and kissed him. After breaking away, he stared at Elias and asked, "Did you really mean it when you said you liked me?" Elias, still in shock, nodded. Alfred then hugged Elias, expressing, "What did you do to me? Why can't I get you out of my mind? I hate you." Elias questioned, "Are you sure you hate me?" And Alfred responded, "I want to." Elias pulled Alfred away from the hug, wrapped his arm around his neck, and affirmed, I'm serious about liking you. Do you feel the same? Alfred reluctantly admitted, unfortunately, yes, I guess. Elias then asked, should we be together then? Alfred responded, no. Elias then asserted, you can't just kiss me and abandon me. I'll count to 5, and if you don't say anything, then we are dating. Elias swiftly counted to 5. Alfred remained silent. Elias took Alfred's hand, interlocking their fingers, and declared, we are dating now, and there's no going back for you. Alfred retorted, who gave you permission to hold my hand? Elias cheekily replied, who gave you permission to kiss me? Alfred rolled his eyes, but didn't resist as they walked, giving a quick smile when Elias wasn't looking. As they reached Alfred's room, he enjoyed the moment, but felt disappointed that their time together was cut short. Not wanting to reveal his disappointment, he looked down at their interlocked hands, and Elias withdrew his hand. Elias proceeded to enter Alfred's room, but Alfred halted him, questioning, where do you think you're going? Elias replied, your room, and Alfred inquired, what happened to your own room? Elias adopted a fake and dramatic sad tone saying, it feels so cold and lonely in there, and I also feel ghosts staring at me. I never have a peaceful night's sleep. Let me just sleep with you. I won't do anything, I promise. Alfred retorted, you can go sleep with the maid you were laughing with the other day then, and promptly shut the door. Elias, frozen with confusion, tried to recall which maid he had been laughing with, considering he was friends with almost all of them. Meanwhile, Alfred, sitting on his bed, kicked his feet, relishing the memories of what had transpired between him and Elias. In the days that followed, Elias and Alfred became inseparable, spending most of their time together. Unbeknownst to Heidi, she became the unintentional third wheel, receiving less attention from Elias than before. Alfred would give Elias a glare whenever Heidi touched him, prompting Elias to subtly distance himself from her without raising suspicions. Their late-night hangouts became a routine, often with Elias reluctant to part ways and Alfred secretly wanting to extend their time together. They would end the night at the door of Alfred's room, as Elias wasn't allowed to enter. Elias, standing outside Alfred's room, requests a goodnight kiss, since Alfred wouldn't let him enter. They continued their talks and flirtations through texts and calls until they both drifted off to sleep. Caught in the act of their nightly routine, Heidi confronted Elias and Alfred as Elias was receiving his goodnight kiss. Approaching them, she asked, what is going on here? Taken aback by Heidi's presence, Elias and Alfred found themselves at a loss for words. Heidi turned to Elias, questioning, are you two dating or something? I thought you came here to marry me. Heidi, now facing Alfred, expressed her hurt and confusion, saying, and you, I thought you said you liked me. I was feeling bad, and you were busy kissing, shoving your tongues into each other's throats. Facing both of them, Heidi continued, feeling hurt and used, do you two see me as a play doll, playing with my feelings? You didn't even bother to tell me that you were dating. I would have been happy for you both, even though I like Elias. It's your happiness that matters to me, but you both don't care about me. Elias and Alfred, feeling remorseful, apologized to Heidi, explaining they didn't mean to play with her feelings or hide their relationship. Heidi, grappling with the revelation of Elias and Alfred's relationship, asked what they would do if their parents found out. However, before they could respond, Heidi cut in, stating, you know what, I don't even want to know. Since you both don't care about me, I'm also not going to care about you, and then walked away. Left with a sense of guilt, Elias and Alfred decided to offer a sincere apology to Heidi the following morning. After Alfred entered his room and began closing the door, Elias blocked the entrance, requesting to come in. Alfred refused and said, I already gave you your kiss, so bye. Elias pleaded, please, just this once. I won't do anything other than sleeping. Alfred remained resolute, saying no and shutting the door. As Elias sadly walked away, the sound of the door reopening caught his attention. Elias quickly turned, staring at Alfred, anticipating that he might have something to say. However, to his surprise, Alfred straightforwardly asked, are you coming in or not? Realizing Alfred had opened the door for him, Elias quickly ran in before Alfred could change his mind. Elias eagerly jumped into bed, and the moment Alfred joined him, he held him tight. Alfred slightly hit his hand and asked him to sleep quietly on his side, else he will sack him. Elias, refusing to let go, replied, "Let me just hold you like this throughout the night." Alfred, giving in, said, "This is your only chance," and turned properly for Elias to hug him. Well, as they lay in bed, Alfred brought up, "We never really thought about our parents. What will we do if they don't accept our relationship and force us to marry other princesses?" Elias, brimming with imaginative solutions, replied, "Then I'll run away with you to a place where we can be alone and free." Alfred retorted, "I'm not running away with you." Elias, undeterred, suggested, "Then we'll spread rumors about us having a disgusting, incurable disease, so no one will want us." Alfred dryly replied, "Only you will be having that disease." Elias, persistent, proposed, "What if we lock our parents up, then we can do whatever we want?" Alfred, bewildered, responded, "What is going through your head? How did I even fall for you?" Elias's face lit up as he teased, "So you admit that you have fallen for me?" He then started sulking and said, "You never told me you like me. I want to hear it, even if it's just once." Alfred, breaking his usual stoic demeanor, stated, "Open your ears very well, because you are going to hear this only once." He moved close to Elias's ear and confessed, "I like you so much, sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy." He then kissed Elias's ear, blushing, and turned to face the other side, feeling a bit embarrassed. Elias, filled with joy, hugged him tightly and said, "I like you too." They both then fell asleep in each other's arms. In the morning, Elias and Alfred attempted to talk to Heidi, but she ignored them completely, not giving them a chance to explain. This continued for days, until a day Elias's brother Melvin came to see him. Elias warmly hugged Melvin, who kissed his forehead. Observing Heidi's interest in Melvin, Elias quickly introduced her to his brother. Additionally, Elias openly introduced Alfred as his boyfriend, as he and Melvin shared a close bond and didn't keep secrets from each other. Seizing an opportunity, Elias left Heidi and Melvin alone to talk, departing with Alfred. Alfred, feeling a twinge of jealousy, asked, "Do you always hug your brother like that?" Elias, teasing, replied, "Don't tell me you are jealous of my brother too." Alfred retorted, "I didn't say I was," and Elias quipped, "But I can see it written all over your face." Alfred remained silent, and Elias kissed both his cheeks, saying, "You look cute when you act jealous." After Melvin left, Elias approached Heidi and asked, "So, what do you think about my brother?" Heidi replied, "Just because you introduced me to your brother doesn't mean I've forgiven you both." Elias's face dropped, and Heidi, with a hint of smile, continued, "I may go easy on you both if you tell me everything you know about your brother." Elias, with a smile, took a seat, sharing stories and details about Melvin since their childhood. Heidi eventually forgave and became cool with Elias and Alfred. Melvin, drawn by his growing connection with Heidi, began visiting more often. During one of Melvin's visits, he shared that their parents had asked him to return home, as the prospect of marrying Heidi was no longer on the table. Elias saw this as an opportunity to disclose his relationship with Alfred to their parents. After discussing the plan with Alfred, both of them decided to return home and openly share the truth about their relationship with their respective parents. On the day of their departure, Alfred unexpectedly hugged Elias and admitted, "We haven't even left, but I already miss you." Elias gently pushed Alfred away, wearing a surprised expression, and quipped, "Are you possessed?" Alfred retorted, "Consider this the last time you'll hear me say something like this to you." Elias, with a grin, pulled out his phone and teased, "Too bad I already recorded it." Alfred rolled his eyes and started to leave, but Elias pulled him back into another hug, saying, "Don't stay away too long, and always answer my calls and texts." Alfred replied, "Fine, I got it." They both left, stealing glances at each other until they were out of sight. At Elias's place, his parents consoled him, assuming he had feelings for Heidi and couldn't marry her because of his brother. Elias attempted to bring up Alfred, but the words stuck in his throat. Days passed, and he still couldn't muster the courage to tell his parents about Alfred. During their calls, Elias asked Alfred if he had revealed their relationship to his parents, but Alfred, too, hadn't shared the truth yet. One day, Elias's parents presented him with pictures of potential princesses, urging him to choose. Finally, Elias gathered the courage to admit that he didn't want any of them because he already had someone he liked. His parents asked which princess it was, and Elias pulled out a picture of Alfred. Assuming it was a joke, they laughed and said, "You brought out the wrong picture." Elias asserted, "I didn't bring out the wrong picture. This is the person that I like." His mom, surprised, asked, "Prince Alfred? But he is a male." Elias confirmed, "Yes, I know, and I like him. We've been dating for a while now." His parents replied, "We are going to pretend we didn't hear what you just said. Now, pick one of these princesses you would like to be with." Elias firmly replied, "I'm not picking any princess. Alfred is the only one I want to be with." His parents replied, "As long as you live under our roof, you are going to do what we tell you to do. You are a royal, and people's eyes are always on you, with some looking up to you. You can't be with Prince Alfred." Elias retorted, "If being a royal won't allow me to be with the person I like, then I don't want to be a royal anymore." His parents, angered, replied, "Fine, then you can leave." Elias also responded, "You don't have to tell me twice." He packed his bags and left, returning to Heidi's kingdom. Melvin was there with Heidi, and when they saw Elias, they asked him what happened. Elias told them everything. Just then, Alfred also came in with his luggage. Surprised, Elias asked him why he was back so early, and Alfred replied that Elias's parents had called his parents and told them about their relationship. They argued, and they kind of kicked him out, so he's back. Melvin mentioned that he would be marrying Heidi soon, and when he does, he will move with Heidi to his place. So Elias and Alfred won't be able to use Heidi's place as their escape house anymore. Elias replied that it didn't matter, and that he just wants to be with Alfred without thinking about anything or anyone for now. Elias followed Alfred to his room, and with Alfred saying nothing like he usually would, Elias decided to share the room with him. Now, at night, as they were laying in the bed, Elias asked, "Do you want to do it?" Alfred, feigning innocence, asked, "Do what?" Elias, with a mischievous smile, responded, "You know what I'm talking about, T." Alfred then asked, "Do you want to get kicked out?" Elias, with a fake sad expression, replied, "Ah, I thought you'd be softer after being away for so long. Didn't you miss me?" Alfred retorted, "No, I didn't." Elias, now sulking, replied, "Okay, I guess I was the only one missing you so bad." Alfred locked eyes with Elias for a moment, his hand moving in his pants. Startled, Elias halted Alfred's advance, questioning what he was doing. Alfred retorted, "Aren't you interested anymore?" Nervously, Elias stammered, "Maybe we can do this another time." Alfred withdrew his hand, smirking, and remarked, "I knew you were all talk and no action." Elias, wearing a mischievous grin, teased, "Do you want some action?" as he ventured into Alfred's pants. Alfred gulped, with his face turned red, and removed Elias's hand, suggesting, "Let's save it for when we're married." Elias inquired, "Is that a proposal?" Alfred chuckled, saying, "You wish." Elias pressed, "Don't you want to marry me?" Alfred quipped, "I'll consider it when you propose," and closed his eyes to sleep. Elias kissed him, whispering a soft good night. Weeks elapsed, and Alfred and Elias remained away from home, with no contact from their parents. Meanwhile, Melvin and Heidi tied the knot in a grand ceremony attended by numerous royal families, including Alfred's and Elias's parents. Throughout the wedding, their parents avoided interaction with them. After the festivities concluded, Elias and Alfred's parents approached them, expressing a desire for a conversation. Apologizing, Alfred and Elias's parents acknowledged their mistake in opposing their relationship, admitting it was driven by fear of societal judgment. Although still uneasy, they expressed hope that time would foster acceptance. Alfred and Elias, appreciative, embraced their parents. Although their parents urged them to return home, Elias and Alfred hesitated. That will mean they were going to have to do a long-distance relationship. They both decided to live together in a house amongst the commoners, owned by Elias's parents. Initially, they grappled with the challenges of household responsibilities, unaccustomed to managing things on their own. Over time, they adapted and visited their parents occasionally. Slowly but surely, their parents embraced their relationship. Alfred, in particular, softened towards Elias, becoming increasingly affectionate and clingy. Living without the pressures of being royalty made Alfred and Elias happier than ever.